Nearly 2 years ago now, I began having past life memories of a war scene. At first, it began as still images, grasslands, primitive huts, a general ambiance of tension and hostility. The details were hazy and ill defined, and honestly, I didn't even believe them. I had no idea what past lives were or what was happening to me. I thought my mind was just helplessly generating images. Eventually, though, over a series of months, the still images started moving, and the context began filling in. I started seeing cavalry. There were many men dressed in robes. It was a cold day. We were raiding a small village. It was thousands of years ago. The battle was in modern-day Pakistan. And then it got personal. I saw myself riding on horseback to the scene after the village had been sacked and pillaged. I hadn't been a part of the battle, for I was a lead general in it. I'd arrived after the siege had completed out of fear. I didn't want to lead from the front for a word for my safety. I was a coward. I felt that, but pushed it deep down. And yet, I still plundered the scraps of the village. I remember entering a hut where there was a young woman. I took advantage of her. The act was appalling. Afterwards, upon seeing the blood, I immediately was filled with utter horror and shame. It was a moment of total sobriety wherein I saw the victim as an extension of myself. What had I done? How could I have committed such a heinous act? Who had I become? I stumbled out of the hut, suddenly sick to my stomach, aghast at my own cruelty. Over time, I received much more information on this story. What this character's name was, what his childhood was like, how a yogi he met while traveling impacted his outlook on the world, why he woke up to his own sins during this particular scene and not a previous one. But I'll save those stories perhaps for another day. Instead, I share this little section with you because humanity is entering a time of atonement, a unique time in human history whereupon the collective re-experiences all of the actions it performed in a blind state of separation. And war is the quintessential example of an act performed out of separation. How could anyone kill, torture, or maim someone else while simultaneously seeing that person as an extension of themselves? If you knew that man to be your brother or father, could you knowingly shoot an arrow through his chest? If you knew that woman to be your sister or your mother, would you be willing to consciously desecrate or harm them in any way? If you knew that child to have your blood running through them, could you do anything but love and support them? While much of modernity has transcended bloody warfare, some haven't. Think about Ukraine and Russia, or the Middle East, or places in Africa. And even those who are innocent of murder today very likely have imprinted memories in their etheric nervous systems of their barbarism from history. Our astral bodies carry all of our karmic dents from our ancestors and past life sins. Believe it or not, the world is moving towards peace. It's transitioning into a society free from all tribal tendency. This is really difficult to believe given the sheer carnage we see on today's news, but it's true. Imagine the process of a pimple popping. For years, the problem is lying dormant, below the skin, in the actual body. Eventually, though, the blemish rises to the surface to be released, to be popped. The same thing is true of today. That is, while it's true that we're currently watching the ugliest part of our arrogance manifest, we should also be wary that it's about to release and we'll be free. Journal prompts I want you to get deep this week. 1. What is the seed in humanity that causes us to fight one another? And second, is that seed of avarice in me? There's going to be quite a bit of new content released in the coming weeks. One about how to meditate in silence without moving at all and why this restlessness builds up. Another one that's in the works has to do with air pollution and fragrances. Spoiler alert, please throw away your Febreze and scented candles and go with unscented versions. Trust me. I'd really love to see you for one of my yoga classes. You can get the live calendar and all the upcoming dates in the description, or you can subscribe to my Patreon, which gives you more or less free access, or at least coupons to those live events, and it supports me and the vision I'm hoping to create. So every time a Patreon subscriber joins, a certain amount of what I call gems are procured on my website, and whenever I hit a certain threshold, whenever I hit a certain place on my roadmap, then I can start to build custom features of the actual website and some of my content. So check that out in the link in the description, and otherwise, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, peace-filled day. Remember, you are the one who spreads the seeds of joy. The world can change, but you need to be the first. Much love.